name is Megan and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be showing you how to cook lasagna. Now, this is not my own personal recipe. This was a recipe I saw online that I wanted to give a try. I personally have never made lasagna before, so I thought that this would be a fun experience to document and share with you. I'm also debating whether or not I want to add this to my low budget series that I've started here on my channel. And if you have not seen my previous video, I've made thus far a crockpot chicken stew. So I'll go ahead and link that down below. But yeah, I don't know whether or not I want to add this to my low budget series, only because if you had none of these ingredients I have here on the table, your total would have been around $43. And that's just for one meal. Just the cheese and the meat alone was like $23. So based on the recipe, it says it's supposed to yield 12 servings. You know, each serving is approximately like $3.50, which is not bad. So I don't know. Y'all let me know down below in the comments if that's an expensive entree or not. As I've stated in my previous video, I cook for one. So I'm sure my perspective on what's expensive or low budget is probably going to be different for those who have partners and or families that they cook for. So yeah, let me know down below what you think about that and whether or not you think I should add it to the low budget series. And I'd really appreciate your feedback. So let's go ahead and get started with the ingredients. So first thing, you're gonna need 1 pound of sweet Italian sausage. I picked up the Johnsonville Italian sausage. This is 1 pound and 3 ounces. Next thing, you're gonna need 3/4 pound of ground lean beef. For me, I substituted mine out for ground lean turkey because although I eat beef, I don't eat it at home. I only eat turkey at home, so I did substitute mine out. You're gonna need 16 ounces of ricotta cheese. My store only had the 32 ounce, so that's what I picked up. You're gonna need 3/4 pound of mozzarella cheese. The recipe calls for sliced, but my store only had grated. Then you're gonna need 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. This one is a 10 ounce container. You're gonna need 1 egg. Also 1 white onion. This is about a medium-sized, small to medium-sized white onion. Approximately 12 lasagna noodles. This particular one I got from Great Value. It has 18, and I checked because on the back it says a serving size is 2 pieces dry, and it says you can get about 9 servings, which, you know, 9 times 2 is 18, so this one has about 18, and I did check because I just wanted to make sure, so I did open it up and check, and it does have 18 lasagna pieces. 1 28 ounce can of crushed tomatoes, 2 6 ounce cans of tomato paste. You're going to need 2 6.5 ounce cans of tomato sauce. I ended up getting just 1 can of a 15 ounce because the recipe will call for about 13 ounces. So I just got 1 can and called it a day. You're going to need 2 cloves of garlic. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of white sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of basil, a 1/2 teaspoon of fennel seeds, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm using sea salt. You're going to need 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper. I have my mortar and pestle here. I'm probably going to ground mine up fresh. 4 tablespoons of parsley and 1/2 cup of water. And besides the ingredients, you're going to need a 9x13 pan, you know, whether you have a ceramic, glass Pyrex. I'm personally going to use the foil pan just because for me, there's nothing worse than having to clean out a casserole dish. So I'm just not going to do it. I'd rather go the disposable route and just throw it away. So that's what I'm going to be using, but you definitely need that. So let's get started with the prep. There isn't a lot to prep. you basically just have to mince up the onion, and I'm going to mince the garlic as well. The recipe calls for it to be crushed, but I don't have a garlic crusher, so I'm just going to mince it. So that's it. That's pretty much it. So let's get started. Now let's mince the garlic. Now the recipe only asks for a couple cloves of garlic. I love garlic, so I'm going to use probably more than that, but you know, just so you know. Now that the prep is done, let's go ahead and get started with the cooking. I just want to put a disclaimer here. If you decide to cook this meal, this particular cooking portion is going to be cooking for at least an hour and a half. So I just want to throw that out there just so you know. If you decide to cook lasagna one night, it is going to take quite a bit of time. So with that being said, the first thing we're going to do is brown the meat. I've never cooked with Italian sausage before, so I didn't realize that the sausage came cased. So I'm going to remove the casing and then we'll get cooking. Here is the sausage out of the casing. I didn't know it came in the casing, so I just went ahead and sliced it down the middle and then took the casing off and then threw it in here. So let's get cooking. I have my heat on like medium high. And like I said before, I've never cooked with Italian sausage before, so this is completely new for me. It kind of reminds me of like chorizo, the texture of it. Okay, so the meat is fully cooked at this point, fully cooked and browned. I'm noticing though, after browning this meat, it's a lot of meat. And I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna have enough space to add the other ingredients. So I'm just gonna go ahead and switch pots and we'll resume from there. So I went and got my Dutch oven out. I'm just gonna transfer the browned meat into the Dutch oven and then we'll go ahead and add the other ingredients. So I still have it on medium to high heat. I went ahead and drained off the fat. Even though the recipe didn't say drain off the fat, I always drain off the fat on my meat. You know, obviously it's your preference, do what you want, but that's just what I did. So now we're gonna go ahead and add in the onions. And I will say, cooking the sausage definitely took a lot longer than I expected it to cook. We're gonna also add in the garlic. We're gonna add in the crushed tomatoes. The tomato sauce. Both the tomato paste. I'm gonna add in your water. And I'm just gonna give this a good stir. Just so I can get this tomato paste that's here stuck on the side all mixed in. And as you can see, I definitely needed more space because this is a lot of sauce that you're gonna be making. So it definitely wouldn't have fit into that. I think that's like a 2-quart or possibly 3-quart pan I had it in initially. It looks great. I don't know if you can see, you probably can't see, but it looks great. It looks like a wonderful start to some great tasting lasagna. I'll give you a sneak peek in just a second. Can you see that? Doesn't that look great? The sauce looks wonderful. Now we're going to add in our seasonings. We're going to start with 2 tablespoons of sugar. There's 2. 1.5 teaspoons of basil. Half a teaspoon of the fennel seeds. 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of parsley. And then last but not least, we're going to do 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, but I have to grind it up. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I personally love a coarse pepper. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to grind it up all the way. Plus it's only 1/4. So, and that's 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to give it another good stir. It looks fantastic. I'm going to give you a last little peek at it. Doesn't it look great? So now we're going to go ahead and simmer. We're going to cook this covered for 1.5 hours. Make sure you come back and stir it occasionally. I won't do any of those check-ins where I'm stirring it. All right, see you then. I just went ahead and let it cook for the 1.5 hours. But let's do a reveal. This sauce looks absolutely fantastic. Can you see that? Now, I have not tasted it yet, so I am going to take a bit out and give it a taste, and I will let you know. But doesn't it look great? It's definitely simmered down. Everything is mixed quite well. I'm really pleased to see how this looks. Like I said, you know, even if the lasagna doesn't necessarily come out well, which I have high hopes for it, but if it doesn't, I at least have a nice sauce recipe that I can do from scratch, which is amazing. So, like I said, I'm gonna give this a taste and we'll see what's going on. Now, I will say this. If you have another Dutch oven pot like this that you can use, I would say at like maybe the 45-minute mark for you, go ahead and put on another pot of water and start boiling your water for your noodles. I do not have another pot. I'm probably going to have to place my sauce somewhere to the side, clean out my Dutch oven, and use the same pot, which is why I waited to the very end to check back in. But like I said, if you have another pot that you can use, start boiling your water probably at the 45-minute mark, because usually it takes a long time to get your water boiling anyways in this size pot. That way, by the time your sauce is already done, either you've just dropped your noodles or you're about to drop your noodles. But yeah, that's just my tip for you if you are making this with me. All right, so I am back. I went ahead and tasted the meat. It was great. I was afraid that it was going to be a little bit too sweet with the sweet sausage and the sugar and all of that stuff that we put into it, but it was really good. Like I said, I now have a wonderful tomato sauce recipe that I can use on like spaghetti or whatever else I want to use it for. Really good. So I've cleaned my Dutch oven. I put my sauce to the side in some containers, and I'm kind of like letting it cool. And I filled it up with some water, and we're going to go ahead and turn it on. And I'm going to get this ready, boiling for the pasta. And you're going to cook the noodles for 8 to 10 minutes. I'm probably going to cook mine for 10. So I'll be back after 10 minutes. Okay, so now that we've cooked the noodles, we're going to drain them and rinse them under cool water to stop the cooking process. Now that we have the noodles cooked, drained, and rinsed in cool water, we're going to get started with the spread. We're going to take 16 ounces of the ricotta cheese, so about half of this container. And I've never worked with ricotta before, so this is pretty cool. This is new for me. That's about half, right? Yeah. We're gonna add half a teaspoon of salt. And then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of the parsley. Then we're going to take 1 egg, and we're going to mix that all together. Once you have that mix, this is what it's going to look like. Looks fantastic. Once you have that mix, go ahead and preheat your oven to 375. Now that we have our oven preheated, now we can get to the fun part, right? We're gonna go ahead and assemble our lasagna. So I'm gonna go through the steps the very first time of how to assemble it, and then after that, I'm just gonna assemble it and probably fast forward through it And I'll check back in with you once we're ready to put it in the oven. All right, let's get started. So the first thing you're gonna do is take a good scoop of your meat sauce. And they say take about 1.5 cups of your meat sauce and place it on the bottom. And I'm gonna use my spoon from earlier. And you just spread it on the bottom of the pan. I think I need a little bit more. Okay, I think that looks good. Now you're going to place your noodles. This is so weird to me. I'm going to take the first one, and you lay them lengthwise. Use noodles this way, so this is pretty cool. Once you place your noodles in, you're going to take some of the ricotta mixture. You're going to place that in there. And you just spread it like you did with the sauce. And I'm not being skimpy at all. I'm definitely trying to cover all of the surface area because I want mine to be nice and cheesy. Because the one thing I hate about lasagna sometimes is that sometimes I feel like people are either very chintzy with the cheese or they're really skimpy with the meat. So I definitely don't want to do that to myself, especially since I'm making it at home. So I'm definitely, like I said, I'm going to do my best. Now you're going to place the mozzarella on top. And like I said, the recipe called for it to be sliced. So I'm just going to sprinkle it. And again, cover the surface area as best as possible. Make sure that there's no area that's not cheesy. It looks great. It looks so good. Yeah, so that's covered. Once you do that, you do the meat sauce again. So I'm gonna try to be a little bit more careful here because we got cheese now. Spread this. Oh, it actually spreads a lot easier than I anticipated. I just thought it was going to mix together immediately, but it actually spreads pretty nice. Okay, cool. Because I have more than enough sauce. This is so cool. I've never made lasagna before, and I'm really enjoying the process of this. It's a lot of work, but I feel like it's going to be worth it when it's all said and done. It looks good already. I'm just going to take a little bit more here on the sides. Make sure, like I said, everything is covered. Got some areas on the edges. I need a little bit more sauce. Okay. Yeah, I'm having a great time putting this together. How are you feeling thus far? Have you ever made lasagna before? If you have, has it been a similar recipe to the one that I'm making today? If it's not, what do you do differently? I'm very curious. How often do you make lasagna is also my question, because this is a lot of work. So I'm thinking that this is like a special. Oh, you're taking your Parmesan now and sprinkling it on top. My guess is that this is a special occasion type of meal to make because it's just a lot of work. This doesn't seem like a meal that you would do very often, but I could be wrong, so let me know. that looks good, right? That was the entire process. So you're basically going to repeat that process, I guess, until either you make 3 layers and or you run out of ingredients. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this process, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I ran out of sauce in this bowl, so I'm gonna go get my other one. Okay, so at this point, I think I'm gonna be able to do possibly one more row if I just like pack it in, and then that'll be my last row. That's what I'm thinking. So that was my very last layer. And it says in the recipe that once you get to the very end, you can just go ahead and use the remaining of the cheese for the top layer. So I'm going to add some more mozzarella because I still have a lot of cheese left. I'm going to add some mozzarella into this Parmesan mix that I have here. I think that looks wonderful. At this point, you're going to put your foil on and then throw it into the oven. Now, the trick that it says on the recipe that to alleviate your cheese from sticking to your foil, they say spray the inside of the foil that you're going to put on so that it doesn't stick, and or try not to place the foils too much onto the cheese so that it doesn't stick. Okay, so now that we have the foil on, we're going to go ahead and put it into our oven and bake for 25 minutes. I just wanted to pop in here while it's cooking and say, after making that whole casserole, I still have plenty of noodles left. I still have a little sauce left, about a corner of Parmesan, half of the ricotta cheese, and just a little bit left of the mozzarella. You know, obviously you can do what you want with the remaining ingredients, but there definitely are some leftover ingredients. So I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do with the rest of it. Okay, so it has already been 25 minutes and I'm praying because I did like the instructions told me to do, but I am praying that my cheese did not stick to the foil. So let's cross our fingers. Yay! Okay. Not bad. So that technique is not 100% because you can obviously see some cheese here, but I definitely think it would have been worse had I not sprayed the foil. So that's wonderful. Now that we got the foil off, we're going to put it back in the oven and bake it for an additional 25 minutes. Look at that. This looks so good. It honestly is better than I expected it to look. Like, I saw some pictures online and I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna turn out, but this looks fantastic. The cheese is melted perfectly. We got a little crisp back there in the back. Ooh, I'm so excited to dig into this. So once the 25 minutes is over, once you pulled it out the oven, you then let it sit for 15 minutes before you serve. So I'll be back in 15 minutes and we're going to cut this baby open and grab a slice out. All right, so it's been 15 minutes. I've let it rest and I'm ready to cut it open. Look at that. And this is what the inside is looking like. I think it looks great. But I think the real test is how does it taste, right? Let's taste it. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh my God. Mmm. Mm-mm-mm. That is so good. If you do nothing, try this recipe. Period. Wow, that is fantastic. I don't think I've ever had a better lasagna. And I'm not just saying that. Wow, that is so good. Listen, I hope you liked this video. If you did please subscribe if you're interested in lifestyle and or more cooking videos. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna go because I need to finish my plate. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.